The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets is a collection of photo tutorials for beginners that will take you all the way from the basics to the more advanced stuff. It is now available for purchase worldwide anywhere you typically buy books, and there is also a direct link in the description. Hello everyone, my name is Masha, and today I want to teach you how to make this beautiful bracelet. Despite the way it looks, this bracelet is actually very simple to create. There are only 2 repeating rows, and it only uses forward and backward knots. So if you're familiar with the basic knots and you've made maybe a bracelet or 2 in the past, I don't see why you can't try this one. As I said though, going into this tutorial, I expect that you know your basic knots, so I won't be showing you how to make them, I'll just be telling you which ones to make. And further on into the video, I'm trying a new thing where I'm going to explain a different way of making this bracelet, but without actually showing you how to. That one is going to be a little bit more advanced, but also perhaps more convenient, and maybe you want to make it that way. I absolutely love this bracelet. It's such a fun pattern to make. I think it looks really cool. I think it's great for the summer as well, although depending on which colors you choose, you can make it fit any season really. This bracelet is definitely a classic. I remember making this so much when I first started on making bracelets. I don't know how many of these I've made, but my god, this was peak childhood for me. This specific pattern holds very dear memories. So I'm very happy that I'm finally making a tutorial on it for you guys. So without further ado, let's actually get into that. For this bracelet, you are going to need 6 colors, and for each of those colors, you're either going to need 2 strings if you're going to be starting like me or in a triangle end, or any other way that isn't a loop, or 1 string per color folded if you're going to be doing a loop, which I don't really recommend for this bracelet because the strings aren't really evenly distributed, so it might be a little bit tricky to do that. I recommend starting a different way. In fact, there are so many different ways you can start this bracelet, and there are even many different ways to actually make the bracelet. I'm going to be going over a completely different way to start and make this bracelet at the end of the video, but now I'm going to be starting my bracelet in a half triangle end, and I'm going to be making it in a sort of candy stripe-esque fashion. That way there's only 2 repeating rows. So let's talk about string length and order. If you're not doing a loop like me, each of your strings are going to be roughly 1 meter long. If you are doing a loop, those will be 2 meters, which you will then fold. First of all, you should decide in which order you want your colors to appear. The easiest way to figure that out is to look at the sort of side of the pattern and decide which colors you want to go with what. So I'm following this pattern pretty exactly. I'm going to go with a dark blue, then light blue, dark pink, dark yellow, light yellow. And so that's exactly how I'm going to arrange my strings in the order that I want the colors to appear in the bracelet. So I'm going to be taking both of those dark blue strings, bringing them out first, then both of the light blue, both of the dark pink, both of the light pink, both of the dark yellow, and both of the light yellow. Let me show you how to do that in the context of a half triangle end. Now I have a full tutorial on triangle ends if you want to learn how to make this for any bracelet, and also learn a bunch of nuances and all other kind of fun stuff that you can make with this technique, like shaped bracelets and so on. I'll leave the intro video to that linked in the card and in the description, but I'm also going to teach you how to do this for this bracelet. So following the string order that we just discussed, I'm going to take out a dark blue string and I'm going to do a backward knot with this dark blue string onto the entire bundle of strings. I'm just going to be naming the knots because hopefully you already know how to make them. I'm then going to put the string off to the side, ignore it for now, take out the second dark blue string as per the string order, and do a backward knot onto the entire bundle, excluding the string we already brought out. Now I'm going to pop both of those strings off to the side, and I'm going to grab a light blue string as per the string order, and I'm going to do a backward knot onto the entire bundle, excluding the strings we've already brought out. And I'm going to continue making backward knots onto the entire bundle, excluding the strings we've already taken out, with all of the remaining strings in the color order that we discussed. And once you run out of strings, that's it. The half triangle end is now complete and all of the strings are in the order that we need to start making the bracelet. So if you started your bracelet in a different way, all you need to do is make sure that your strings are in the same order, and that way you can follow the tutorial as normal from this point. Alright, so as I said, there's only 2 repeating rows. Let's get into them. I'm going to try and make this simple. The 2 outermost strings on the left side are the main color we're going to be working with for this row. In my case, this is dark blue. We need to bring the dark blue strings from the left side to the right side, and we're going to do this in a combination of forward and backward knots. We're going to start by making a knot between the 2 blue strings. Because these strings are the same color, you can do any knot that you like. I recommend doing a forward knot, and that's what I'm going to do now. So let's do a forward knot between the 2 outermost strings, which are blue for me. we're working with the first blue string for the first row, and now we've encountered 2 light blue strings. These 2 light blue strings are going to do backward knots individually onto the dark blue string. So starting with the first light blue string, we're going to do a backward knot on the dark blue string, and then the second light blue string is also going to do a backward knot on the dark blue string. Alright, now the dark blue string is encountering the second pair of color strings. This time the dark blue string is the one doing the knots. So let's do 2 forward knots on each of these pink strings individually. 1 on the first one and 1 on the second one. So 2 forward knots. Alright, that's now done, and the dark blue string is at the pink strings now. This time the pink strings are the ones doing the knot. So like with the light blue strings, each of these pink strings is going to do a backward knot onto the dark blue string individually. So this one does a backward knot, and then this one does a backward knot on the dark blue string. Now we're at the dark yellow strings, we switch it again, and the dark blue does 2 forward knots, 1 on each dark yellow string. And finally, we're at the light yellow strings. This time we switch it up again, and the yellow strings are going to be the ones doing the knots. So 2 backward knots onto the dark blue string. And there we go, row 1 is complete. The first dark blue string has successfully transferred from the left side to the right. And now for the second row, which is pretty much exactly the same as the first one, except remember how we started the first one with a knot between the 2 blue strings? This time we're going to finish that with the 2 blue strings knotting together at the end. But let me go through it with you one more time. First strings of another color that our main string encounters do backward knots onto it. So these 2 light blue strings are going to do backward knots onto the dark blue string. Then we switch, and the next 2 color strings we do forward knots onto. So the dark blue string is going to do 2 forward knots onto the pink strings now. Then we switch again, and the light pink strings are going to do backward knots onto the dark blue string. For the next 2 strings we switch again, and the dark blue string is doing forward knots onto the dark yellow string. And for the last strings of a different color, the light yellow strings are going to be doing backward knots onto the dark blue string. And finally, the 2 dark blue strings are all the way on the right side now. We finish the row by making a knot between them. And this time I'm going to make a backward knot. Since they're both the same color, it doesn't really matter. And that's literally it. You can already kind of see the pattern starting to form, but that's literally it. So now the colors have switched and you've got the light blue strings on the left side. Those are going to be the main strings for this row. So you can rewind this tutorial to the beginning and do the exact same steps, but with these colors now. I've left timestamps in the video so you can skip around and makes it easier for you to rewatch. I'm going to go finish this bracelet off camera. I'll show you how I finish the triangle end, and then I'll also talk about a different way of starting and making this bracelet that is a little bit more complex, but you might also want to try out. Alright, so my bracelet is now finished. Let me show you how to make the half triangle end to finish the bracelet. So my bracelet is sloped in this direction. So from the side that's higher, I'm going to take the 2 outermost strings and I'm going to do a backward knot between them. I'm then going to take the next string that's further down the slope and I'm going to do a backward knot onto both of these strings at the same time. I'm then going to grab the next string after that and I'm going to do a backward knot on all 3 of these strings together. I'm essentially creating a bundle of strings and I'm going to continue doing that, grabbing the next string on the slope and doing a backward knot onto the bundle until I run out of strings. And there we go, the half triangle end is now done and all of the strings are in a bundle together and ready to be made into a tie. I'm going to be making twisted ties, and to save time I'm going to refer you to the twisted ties tutorial that I have on my channel that will be linked in the card and in the description for you. I want to explain another way that you can start and make this bracelet, except I'm not going to be filming a tutorial for this. There's going to be an audio only explanation aided with some visual hints on the pattern as well. This is going to be a little bit more complex, which is why I didn't choose this way to explain it, but if you want your bracelet to start and finish in a triangle end, this is another way that you could do it. So you can cut the triangle end at really any point. The tip of that triangle end would be the diamond in the center. So let's say I also want the diamond to be dark blue like I did in the main tutorial. I would cut for that triangle end right around here. That way, if I had the same colors on the left side, I would start by bringing out 2 light pink strings, 2 dark yellow strings, and 2 light yellow strings, and then on the right side it would be the 2 dark blue, 2 light blue, 2 dark pink. Then I'm going to go a little bit quickly here because I assume if you're making a bracelet this way, then you have a little bit more experience because this is a bit more difficult. To make a bracelet like this, I would start by doing that first blue diamond, then I would do the yellow diamond, then the pink diamond. Then for the next row I would do left to right, blue, light blue, dark pink, and that's how you sort of get out of that triangle shape. And everything beyond that would again be sort of the 2 main blocks, I guess. Those would be repeating. So starting from here, you would repeat 1 knot between the strings on the left, in this case it's blue, then the 2 diamonds, light yellow, dark yellow in this case, then 1 knot for the strings on the left, light pink. Then for the second block, it would be 3 of the diamonds. So the light blue diamond, dark pink diamond, light pink diamond. And then again, you would repeat 1 knot for the strings on the left, 2 diamonds, 1 knot for the strings on the right, then the 3 diamonds, and so on and so on and so on until you decide to finish your bracelet in a triangle end as well. And you need to start thinking about finishing your bracelet in a triangle end when you're on the block with the 3 diamonds. So once you've made that, for the next row, you skip the part with the 2 strings on the outermost side and you just do the 2 diamonds in the center. And then for the next part, you don't do 3 diamonds, you just do 1 that's in the center. And that lets you finish your bracelet in another triangle end, in which case you just finish your bracelet in a triangle end and then you're done. I hope this mini tutorial was helpful. I know that this is for more advanced people because I'm obviously not showing you how to make this, I'm just kind of audio explaining it. But I figured I'd try it with this one and see what you guys think, if this is even helpful. Because as I said, with every bracelet really, there's multiple ways of making it, specifically with like segment knotting and stuff. I typically choose the easiest way to explain, and what is in my opinion the easiest way to knot really for beginners, which is why I chose sort of the candy stripe shape for this one, because in that way it's just 2 rows and it's super easy to do. But let me know if this was helpful anyway. Let's jump back into the main video. And this is how the bracelet turned out. I really love how this pattern turns out. I think it's super cute, and I also really like these colors together, but there are so many more color variations that you could create with this pattern. It's an absolutely gorgeous bracelet. It's simple yet effective, and it's very much a bracelet classic. If you make this bracelet, make sure to tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see your creations. And if you're looking for other ways to learn, or maybe you want to help bring a friend into this craft, my book, The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets, is now out worldwide. It's a collection of photo tutorials aimed at beginners that brings you all the way from the basics to more advanced stuff, giving you all the information you need to create absolutely amazing friendship bracelets. It's available for purchase anywhere you typically buy books, but there is also a direct purchase link in the description if you want to get it there. I also want to give a special shout out to my patrons, and especially my top supporters. It is with your support that I'm able to create these videos, so thank you so much. And if you also want to become a patron and support the work that I do on this channel, the link to that is in the description. But in any case, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!